Hey there.
How are you, man?
Good. How are you?
Okay. Hey, Thom.
Yeah.
Hey,
How are you, man?
yeah, pretty good. How are you?
Good.
How do you do? We're about to unfold the story of
The Bride of Frankenstein. She's alive! Alive! A monster created from cadavers out of rifled graves. A tale that sent my blood into icy creeps.
Would you like to hear what happened after that?
Well, we've warned you.
You've been warned. Welcome back to Frankenstein Minute, the podcast that dissects the Universal Frankenstein film series minute by minute. I'm Bill Evenson.
And I'm Thom Lang, and you join us for the final minute 75 of Universal's 1935 Bride of Frankenstein.
That's right, Tom. And joining us
That's right,
today is New York Newsday and New York Post sports writer, horror buff, lifelong Lon Chaney Jr. fan, and Frank Santopadre's favorite sports writer, Wallace Matthews. Welcome, Wallace.
Thanks, guys. My pleasure to be here. And the only reason why Santopadre likes me so much is because he's a long-suffering Met fan. I've spent most of my career at Newsday destroying the Mets. And there's something about Met fans where they actually get off on criticizing the team. It's like they try to commiserate each other.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the Mets are, how are they doing now?
They're a hot mess.
Yeah.
They actually won a game the other day because Conforto stuck his arm out in front of a pitch to force him to win. Which is
Whatever.
It's the most Mets thing you could do. Or one of
Whatever works, whatever gets you.
Yeah,
there,
Whatever it takes. So this minute, just to get the minute out of the way first, because there is something in this minute. First, it says the end. The Universal plane
it's a
fly
Universal
past.
picture. I think it says it's a Universal picture first, then the
Good
end. You
point.
get the Universal little plane, and this is one of the last times in a Universal horror you'll see the little plane for reasons that we'll get into later.
Is it on Dracula's daughter?
It is.
Okay.
It's Werewolf of London, Dracula's Daughter. Those are about it. After that,
Okay.
After that, it's no longer a Lemley Universal.
Okay.
Then we get the standard. A good cast is worth repeating, which it always is. Even a bad cast sometimes is worth repeating.
Last time I did a whole thing about the font and the kerning and all the differences or whatever. It doesn't really apply this time. The font is more or less the same. But I do have some people who are missing from the opening credits that made it into the end credits. Do you have a thing?
No, go ahead.
All right, I'm just going to race through them. Ted Billings as Ludwig, Anne Darling as the shepherdess, Mary Gordon as Hans's wife, Reginald Barlow as Hans. That's right, she's woman
In the script.
In the script. Dwight Fry as Carl, Lucian Prival as Butler, E. Clive as the Burgomaster, Douglas Walton as Percy Bysshe Shelley,
I think that's
and
right.
Gavin Gordon as Lord Byron, and strangely enough, Ernest Thesiger as Dr. Pretorius does not appear in the opening credit.
Really?
I noticed that also yesterday because I first watched the film to get ready to talk to you guys, and I was shocked that he was not among the first four names. How is that?
You would
It's
think
his
so,
movie.
right?
It's his.
It's his
He's
movie,
the star of the
totally.
movie.
Exactly. I agree.
I was going to say, since we've got a sports writer on, I was going to ask, is he the MVP of this movie? But I guess we've
No
already got
doubt. It's not even a runner-up. Come on. Without him, it's not. It's nothing. It really
Oh
is.
yeah,
I
no,
mean,
I couldn't agree more.
And
And-
it's shocking how little time the monster actually has on screen. And
True.
Clive kind of
Right.
comes and goes, but Thesiger is like he's the glue that holds the whole damn thing together.
Pretorius, the film happens because of Pretorius instigating all this mayhem.
And amazingly, he wasn't the first choice, which is
I
just
know.
astounding. That
We've
they wrote it
discussed
for.
this in my house too. We're okay with Claude Rains, but no.
No, Claude Rains would have been fine. It would have been a very different character.
Wouldn't have been as good.
It wouldn't have had the dark humor that Thesiger brought to it. He and Whale brought out the best or the worst, however you want to look at it, in each other. They both had sort of a wicked sense of humor, and you see that in first of all, the old dark house, sort of an embryonic form, and then it really comes to fruition here.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way Raines would have brought, and just like some of the line readings, and you guys brought it up a couple of weeks ago when he says, there's always, sudden deaths, and he goes, always. Can you see Claude Rains doing that? No way. No way.
Certainly. Well, even just his face, when they get to the scenes where they're just the dark lighting on his face. Raines is a handsome guy.
Yeah,
that's not going to work.
How about the part, and my daughter picked this out when she was a little girl, because I tormented my children and forced them to watch this, from when they were kids. But when he says the Bride of Frankenstein, and the two hands go down, Claude Rains, no way he's going to do that.
No, he wouldn't have anywhere near as theatrical. Well, first of all, he was straight, so that plays into it a little bit. However you want to.
I think so.
That's part of the whole fabric of the film. You can't deny that. The homosexuality of James Whale and Ernest Thesiger, despite, having been married for 30-some years to the same woman.
And so was Charles Lawton.
Yeah. to the Bride of Frankenstein.
That's right.
Exactly. So, yeah, I must respectfully disagree. Claude Rains would have been adequate. I don't know if he would have been fine.
That's fair enough.
Now, can I ask you guys a question?
Yes.
That's why we're here.
It was really nice of Universal to end the final minute. Like, you didn't get bleed over like the last line.
No, not at all. I mean, it was
Did they
perfect.
Plan it that way for you guys?
They did. A lot of that happens, because in Frankenstein, Edward Van Sloan literally walks off stage at the end of the first minute. The opening credits play for exactly a minute. So for 2 weeks, we were like, yeah, this is great. And it kind of gets a little off here.
Yeah, but that was really nice of Junior.
That was really nice of them, Ted Kent and James Whale, this time around, to edit it in such a manner that they knew this was coming.
Well, it actually fades out, right? What are the lines?
The last line is awful. You don't remember what the last line is? Darling.
Oh, God, yes.
It's Colin Clive reluctantly hugging Valerie Hobson, and says darling, and it fades out with the music.
What a lame way to end the movie.
It's like Magnificent Ambersons. It's been tacked on. It's literally been tacked on.
It has, because he was supposed
right,
to
he was
die.
dead. Yeah.
We talked about that last week.
I do have two or three names that aren't in either. There's lots of names that aren't in either
lots of names
opening or end. Credits. Notably to me, Elspeth Dudgeon or any of the gypsies.
Right.
And
that was
John
literally
Carradine.
tacked on at the last minute too.
Well, that's true too. That's a good point. Yeah.
So it's very possible that the titles were prepared before.
I was thinking that, shot. And maybe the opening titles before they cast. No, that doesn't make sense.
They still had Claude Rains on
it. There's some prints that say Claude Rains.
Black it out.
It'd be great.
It says Karloff and Rains.
Yeah, you can see like where Thesinger's is superimposed. It jiggles a little bit compared to the rest of it.
And John Carradine and Frank Terry are the other ones.
Well, Jack Curtis.
Yeah, Jack Curtis.
The other hunter, Robert Adair, he's not in there. He had a fairly okay career too. So there's some people. None of the homunculi are credited.
Right.
And the guy who is 99% of his career was uncredited or unbilled gets billing here is Ted Billings, who doesn't have a line.
Where would this movie be with? No, but he did have a line.
Oh, he does, right? He says
he has one line. He says like "Get out of here" or something.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
If you watch it very carefully.
Yeah.
Now, when you guys were on Gilbert Gottfried, did he mention to you, and because this is one of his favorite things, that he once lost a part to Billy Barty, who got cut out of Bride of Frankenstein?
No, he didn't.
Loves to mention that. It's like a badge of honor that he lost a role to like a guy 3'2" or something.
Well, Gilbert isn't a whole lot taller than that, is he?
Gilbert's not much taller, but I guess he's too big for the part.
Do you know what role it was?
I don't remember. He mentions it all the time, and I wish I could tell you.
Sigmund,
I don't know.
Sigmund
Some
and the Sea Monsters
that
or something?
called for a short person.
Okay.
It's nice.
I can't believe that he didn't bring that up.
No,
he does not know that Billy Barty's in Bride of Frankenstein.
Well,
I noticed listening back to the Gilbert podcast, one of the strengths of it is Gilbert is kind of all over the place. So
it's pretty mildly.
I like the conversation will go one direction and he'll just forcibly drag it back to whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, thankfully Frank is there to bring him back.
Yeah, Frank.
Exactly. That's it. Then the movie ends. I looked it up in the book Universal Horrors. They point out that no one's really even attempted to duplicate Whale's style in this movie in any of the sequels.
No.
But I don't know if anybody's attempted to duplicate his style in any movie ever.
Any movie ever again, right? Yeah, I think the mix of the horror and the comedy, and let's be honest, there's probably more comedy than horror in the film, which to me is one of its strengths. I know some people get put off by that, but that's why it's my favorite.
Well, it does kind of stand out in the series. If you're watching it as a monster rally kind of, well, I shouldn't say monster rally, but just as a series, it doesn't have the same tone as you do with the later films. What's your experience with the Frankenstein series, Wallace? How do you come to these films?
Oh my gosh. You know what? I was
Monster
thinking
Kid?
about that. Like, what's the first one I saw? I think I may have seen like House of Dracula when I was like 6 or 7. And I loved it. You know, I really liked the Wolfman. That was, you know, my thing. And then little by little, I started, you know, just whenever, because they used to be on TV.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the Universal
Right.
canon would be on TV. Suddenly there's, you know, Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, which now, by the way, is my favorite. Let me just give you this distinction. There are movies that I respect more than I like. And there's
Sure.
movies that I like more than I respect.
Absolutely.
Like I respect Citizen Kane, but I much prefer to watch Casablanca. All right.
Yeah,
To
fair
me, it's
enough.
just more fun. It's more
Fair enough,
entertaining.
fair enough.
I really respect Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, but if I want entertainment, I watch Frankenstein meets the Wolfman because I love the gypsy sing-along. You know, I like you know,
Cue
I
up
like
the-
Lugosi as the monster just for the laugh value.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's just it's
Yeah.
an amazingly inept performance.
It is.
You know, entertaining. I think it was House of Dracula, and I saw a copy of Famous Monsters of Filmland on the newsstand. It must have been 1965, and I begged my mother for like the 35 cents to buy them. And then from there, like I was hooked until I discovered girls, pot, and boxing. And then I kind of moved off it for a while.
In that order, or?
Well, and like, yeah, they were all like kind of intermixed around the same time. Yes.
Okay, all right.
So, but one of the reasons why I was so eager to do this with you guys, because I found two guys who are more obsessed with this than I am, which is not easy.
Yeah, we hear that a lot. Yeah.
You know, like my wife, you know, she's very tolerant and she'll watch these movies with me, but she basically, I'm not talking out of school. She refers to us all as a bunch of crackpots.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what do you and your crackpot friends think about this now? You know,
Yeah, that's about
because
right.
it does permeate my existence, you know, and a lot of times, you know, my kids know this, I'll embarrass the crap out of them. Like I'll be somewhere, like we were at a movie at the Angelica Film Center in Manhattan. We're watching trailers and a guy fell through the ice into a hole. And I actually blurted out, that's the same thing that happened to Daniel the Hunchback. And my kid's like, Dad, what are you talking about? But that's where my brain goes, unfortunately.
Yeah. No,
And I gravitate back to these movies over and over again. But I must tell you guys, the dozens, if not hundreds of times I've seen Bride of Frankenstein, you guys have taught me a million things in this movie that I never saw.
Well, I know it's us going through it minute by minute. We see
Yeah, it's
things
true obsession.
we
man.
had
That's-
never seen.
That's
before.
true love.
Yeah, absolutely.
True.
I actually just noticed something this morning about a minute from Frankenstein, that when Henry and the monster meet on the hill, there is a little piece of the set on the right side of the frame that's not finished. You can see the grate that they would put the concrete over to
And
create
you
the
don't have
rocks.
to go
So there's
pop
like a little bit of it that's not covered up.
Now I have to go pop the DVD in.
Yeah, so
Totally.
it's really hard to see. You can actually see it better in stills of that, but it is visible in the film. And I've never noticed it. How many times have I seen that?
Now we have to go back and do the whole
I know,
minute
we
by
gotta
minute
re-
again.
we gotta
Everything
You
you
have to redo
find.
at least that one.
Yeah, we at least got to
That
do
1
like
minute.
minute 64 or whatever it was. Yeah.
64A.
Yeah.
Next week.
We'll do an addendum to it. So yeah, we find all kinds of things that we'd never seen.
So that's it. Bride of Frankenstein's over. Reviews at the time seem to have been more or less uniformly positive, I wrote here. I kind of thought you might expect a movie that's considered a classic like that today. I mean, it's really revered today.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
I wouldn't have been surprised to find out that maybe at the time it wasn't considered that because it's so unique. But yeah, Time Magazine loved it.
No, I
New York
think
Times loved it. Variety loved it. Everybody has always loved this movie.
This has always been, sort of the crowning achievement. I think it never had a moment where it wasn't. And while it was James Whale's last horror film, it's not James Whale's last reference to The Bride of Frankenstein. Film that he did just after this, Remember Last Night. It's sort of a romantic comedy. It stars Robert Young and Constance Cummings. I just watched it a few weeks ago, and there is a line where she says that she feels like the Bride of Frankenstein, which I thought was kind of cute, coming from the next film that James Whale made after this.
So this is before Showboat.
Yeah, before Showboat. Yeah, Showboat was 36.
Well, that's what happens here. Like it all starts to fall apart right after this. For Universal, for the Laemmles, they take out a loan in November of 35, and they've given up the studio by April of 36.
Mm-hmm.
So they get Showboat going, and they get a couple of others like we've talked about before. Dracula's Daughter.
Dracula's Daughter was still in production when they lost the studio.
Is that it? No, Werewolf of London comes before this. I don't know the order anymore.
Really incredible how short a time they actually had the studio, and how many quality productions they jammed into a fairly short time.
Well, it was only about 4.5 years from 31 to
Well, if you take it from like the Phantom of the Opera,
well, okay,
even 10 years, it's
Hunchback,
not a long time.
Hunchback was 23, so that's kind of the first one. And Junior Laemmle gets knocked around quite a bit in books and things, but you look at his track record, it's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, I would say. And how old was he?
He was 21 when he took over the studio, and about that age, I think, when he pushed hard to make Dracula. So without Junior Laemmle, we wouldn't be sitting here talking about this stuff. So
right, the old man wouldn't have made these movies.
No, he hated these kind of movies. The only thing he liked about them is they made money.
Yeah, well, that's a pretty good thing. Yeah, so then after this, it's not only the Laemmles that leave, but horror in general takes a few years off. And I was thinking about that. It's from 36 till about, do we kind of go roughly Dracula's Daughter to Son of Frankenstein?
Yeah.
And that's about 3 years. Mm-hmm. And having been stuck in my house for a little over a year due to this pandemic, 3 years now sounds like a really long time. You know what I mean?
Especially if you don't leave the house.
Well, it certainly was for Bela Lugosi, that's for sure, because he didn't work in those 3 years, I don't think at all. Karloff managed to maintain as a character actor, and he did things like Night Key, and if you can sit through that more than once, my hat's off to you. Well, it was there was an embargo by the British Board of Film Censors that said no more horror whatsoever. That was a huge market, and the new Universal brass weren't interested in this genre at all. So it just sort of stopped. If Universal wasn't making them, nobody was.
So you buy Universal Pictures in 1936, and you're not interested in horror films.
I know. Go figure that. Well, I don't think
you have to be forced into bringing them back. There you go.
There is little curiosity. There's a movie. It's a short. It's a Technicolor short that MGM made called Two Hearts in Wax Time. You can find it on YouTube in its entirety. It's you've seen it?
Yes, I have. They show it. I've seen it on TCM, I'm sure, between movies.
Yep. It's very weird because in there's a wax figure of the Frankenstein monster who looks exactly like Karloff does in Bride of Frankenstein.
Isn't it like are they in like department store windows?
Department store windows, yeah. Like
right, okay, yeah, I've seen it.
And what year is this?
According to IMDb, take that with a grain of salt. It came out in March of 35. Bride of Frankenstein didn't come out until May of 35. So it's a little weird. And some of the dialogue that the monster has in this short is like verbatim from Bride of Frankenstein. So either the date is wrong, which is what I assume, or MGM had access to this. But they also, I'm sure, had to get permission from Universal to use this look because it is dead on like Karloff with the burned off hair and the scar on the face and everything. Dirtied up clothes, tattered suit. So it's very odd.
Which reminds me, when Pretorius says in that scene where he says, there have been developments since I got him because he's talking. Mm-hmm. Why couldn't he buy him a new suit for
Bill mentioned that.
Did you? Oh my God, he's a mess.
Yeah, get the guy a new coat anyway.
Yep. You teach him to talk. I've dressed the guy for God's sake. Jeez, priorities.
Yeah, really.
I guess it's like that. I don't know which phrase is it. Putting lipstick on a pig. Like, at what point do you just decide it's not worth it?
No matter how you polish it, a turd is still a turd.
Polish a turd is the other one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right, Bride of Frankenstein. Tom, yes or no?
Oh, we did our Karloff top 10 special bonus episodes. It was both of our number ones, so I think that speaks a lot.
Number one in terms of what?
Our favorite Karloff films.
Favorite Karloff film.
Because we did that. We waited till minute 32 of Frankenstein to even mention his name. because that's the first time you see him, and since he's not in the opening credits, we sort of played into that as sort of a little joke that who's going to be the monster?
Right.
And
So where does Scarface fit into the list?
Scarface was shot prior to this, or prior to Frankenstein, but didn't come out till after.
No, but in the top 10. Top 10 Karloff films.
I don't think it made either of our top 10.
It wasn't in mine.
It was,
He rolls a strike after he's shot dead.
Yeah, he does.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, I couldn't roll a strike if I hadn't been shot, so I guess that's pretty impressive.
The Karloff scene definitely is good. I don't know. Scarface is a good movie.
Scarface is a good film.
It's up there.
It's better than the Al Pacino one anyway.
Oh, God, yes.
But then again, an hour and a half of unexposed film is better than...
So let's
don't.
Would you guys be agreeable to telling me what other 8 movies are in the Karloff top 10?
Oh boy,
I don't even remember. Do we have that?
Body Snatcher.
Body Snatcher.
I'm sure Body Snatcher was high up on both our lists.
Targets, definitely.
Old Dark House, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein.
House of Frankenstein.
He had House
Son
of
of Frankenstein. Son of Frankenstein is in mine.
It
wasn't in yours.
But The Mummy.
The Mummy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely The Mummy. I had The Raven from '63 because I just adore that film. Everybody's having a blast. Not The Raven.
You remind me though.
Now I love
You remind me though the Black Cat.
Let's not make this a dividing line.
No. The Black Cat was both of our lists.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
I think we've both trashed The Raven over the years, but what I find it's one of those movies that when I watch it, I'll watch it once and I'll say, boy, I really didn't like that. And then next time I watch it, I'll be like, that was really great. I mean, it's fun. It's like
fun.
You said about Frankenstein
silly.
Meets the Wolfman. It's got a
fun.
silliness.
And you know what? That's Lugosi's movie, and anybody that could say I'm a law unto myself and whatever else he says, I'm almost a god. I mean, that's just great. Nobody else could have. There's not another actor in the history of movies could have done that part.
No, that's
I like
very
that.
true.
I like
It's
that.
Lugosi at his Lugosi.
How about Claude Rains? Try Claude Rains doing that.
No.
I'm thinking of the girl's daughter, or no, I'm sorry, the girl's father, the woman's father comes to Lugosi to tell him, you don't want to be dating my daughter or whatever. And Lugosi's like, just
Are you crazy?
I don't care.
Fuck you.
Lugosi's a test tube in his hand.
Yeah, right.
It's a great. I'm sorry, it's a great performance.
No, I love a bad Lugosi performance. I'm not a big.
See, we're not going to get along, man.
I'm not a huge fan of his Dracula, but I love him in like those Poverty Row things that he did for like Monogram, PRC in the 40s because he's great. They just let him go and they let him be Lugosi.
He's riveting. There's no other actor like him.
A friend of mine just saw White Zombie for the first time recently, and it's like that's all that movie is Lugosi.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What about, all right, in all seriousness, he's only on screen for maybe 2 minutes. How great is he in The Wolfman?
Oh, he's great.
Oh,
Yeah.
true.
See, that's my point is when
He's
he
haunted.
plays those little character parts like that, he's absolutely outstanding. He saves Son of Frankenstein for me because Karloff doesn't have anything to do and Rathbone is all over the place, ping-ponging back and forth.
I think he's horrible in that movie.
Oh, he way overacts.
I'm sorry, who's horrible in it?
Rathbone.
Oh, really?
He's like a raw nerve from the first scene.
Huh.
Well,
I think I didn't realize that this film seems to be you seem to love or hate it because I just love Son of Frankenstein.
I think it's a little long. I do like it. I like
see,
it. I just think he's like
you could
over
lose,
the top.
You could lose 20 minutes out of it easily. And
we're really not selling season 3 of our podcast.
I'm looking forward to what you guys are going to teach me about that movie.
Yeah, there's not a lot because we got him putting his son to bed for like 5 minutes in real time. I don't know what we're going to talk about.
You're going to get me through 90 runs with that movie.
Yeah.
All right, so let me just throw this question out to everybody. What's Bela Lugosi's best role
Igor in Son of Frankenstein.
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, I'm tempted to say Dracula, but I know that I'm going to open up a can of worms here if I say that. I love him as Dr. Valen. I really do. I know it's over the top, but I think it's exactly what it calls for. Yeah, I actually like him in Black Cat also.
Well, he's fine in Black Cat because Edgar Ulmer kind of pulled him back a little bit.
How about when he throws a knife at a cat and then falls through a plate glass?
Let's see Claude Rains do that.
Again, not really a Claude Rainsy thing to do.
Yeah, I like him a lot in The Black Cat. He's pretty good. But when he does those sort of character parts, he's absolutely outstanding. I even think he's great in the Black Cat from 42, where he's the gardener.
Oh, yeah.
He's in like 2 scenes, and he's great. He's great in Body Snatcher, sort of the befuddled janitor.
He's great in The Invisible Ray. Like, he plays that
Agreed.
part of the
He's great in
stuffy
everything.
scientist.
Now we've all come to an agreement. He's great.
He's great, not always for the right reasons.
It's okay.
Yeah,
He's
no, it's
entertaining.
fine.
He is entertaining.
No, I mean, you wouldn't be
He's
able
like
to
Nicolas Cage, right? Like Nicolas Cage in
Nicolas
a lot
Cage
of
in
movies.
Vampire's Kiss.
Terrific.
Yeah, absolutely.
And nobody's
Saved
well, we're
by
laughing
Nicolas
at Nicolas
Cage.
Cage, but he's not living, in a one-room apartment like Lugosi was at the end.
That's a good
That's
point.
very true.
All right, well, that's a segue to next week's episode. What do we want to say about Son of Frankenstein?
Well, Son of Frankenstein, yeah, I agree with Wallace that it is too long, but
And again, you got to like any movie where a guy sticks, darts into his wooden arm.
Lionel Atwill is outstanding. It's his.
He's
first
always
Frankenstein.
he's another one, always great.
Yeah, I just watched Mystery of the Wax Museum last night.
Oh,
He's
he's
great.
good in that.
He's really good. Speaking of, it ties back to Bride of Frankenstein because Gavin Gordon is in it.
Right, he's the suspect.
Lord
In-
Byron
in
himself
Wax Museum? Wow.
Mystery of the Wax Museum. Yep.
I don't remember that at all.
He tries to he's going to marry Glenda Farrell, but she winds
Yeah.
up marrying Frank McHugh at the end
Frank McHugh. Yeah.
because he's a better choice.
I'll be honest with you. I'd rather watch Frank McHugh than I would Gavin Gordon. So.
Absolutely, he's hilarious, and he's even though he's a newspaper editor, and I've hated every editor I ever had. I like him.
Well, aren't you supposed to? Yeah, suppose that's kind of comes with the territory, isn't it?
Of course, that's
Yeah.
that's part of the job description.
Yeah, I would think so. So okay,
I don't know. I thought he was good in this one. I gotta give Gavin Gordon props
no,
for
he's-
this
he's
one.
fine. No,
he's
I-
completely again over the
Oh,
top.
the rolling
but-
R's.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, the rolling
And
R's.
He's like from like Kentucky or something like that.
Is he really?
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
and the really strange thing is that he was Edward Everett Horton's partner through like most of their adult lives.
Opposites. I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought it odd.
It seems to be different types. I don't know.
Yeah, very different. Yeah. But hey, the heart wants what the heart wants.
That's
so
right.
That's what they say.
That's what I hear.
So you got anything on Son of Frankenstein? I know last episode of the first season, Tom, you had a bit of an introduction to Bride. Did you have anything to say about Son?
It brought back horror movies, brought back Universal into the horror movie genre after, as we said, a 3-year drought.
So there's a triple
There
feature.
was a triple feature
Yeah.
this little theater in LA got a hold of some prints of Dracula, Frankenstein, and pillar of horror, Son of Kong. And they had lines around the block. Universal got wind of this and they did a whole nationwide reissue of Dracula and Frankenstein. That did so well, they decided, let's make a brand new one and we get Son of Frankenstein.
Son of Frankenstein, Wallace, you think it's too long?
Definitely number 3 out of the 3, right? I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I can tell you things I like about it and things I don't like about it. I really like the little kid. He makes me laugh.
Well, see, now you've opened a can of worms.
I really like the kid. I find him, he's funny and all. I hate the that woolly shirt that Karloff is wearing. Why did they decide to put him in?
Yeah,
That is
he
weird.
hated it. He hated it as well.
Yeah, it would probably have made me sneeze. I can imagine why you hated it. The other thing is, I don't like that the makeup is not right. Something's not right about the makeup.
It's-
with Karloff.
Yeah, what it is, he's older by 4 years, so he's a little heavier. But what it is, the forehead is like an inch or two taller than it was before.
Yeah.
I think part of that is he's padded out a lot more than he was in Bride. Everything is bigger, and I think so that he would be that much taller than Basil Rathbone and Lugosi, who were both 6 foot something. I mean,
Well,
Karloff was
taller
6
than Karloff.
Karloff was 6 foot, but they were still an inch or two taller. So I think to heighten him even further,
Yeah, it just
they go
doesn't
up,
look
and
right.
it looks.
to me
It
for
looks.
some reason.
This is the start of it beginning to look like a Halloween costume.
You're right.
By the time you get to Ghost and meets the Wolfman,
Ghost is
It looks like your, drunk uncle at a Halloween party.
Yeah, no, I'm a big Chaney fan, but that's not the one
not
I
as
would pop
fine
in
as
the show
hour
anymore.
and 10
No.
minutes.
If I wanted to show you why I like Lon Chaney, I would not show you that. In fact, I might burn that one. That's really bad. But I mean, I love Igor. I love Atwell's character. I like the kid for some reason. I even like Henry Wolf von Frankenstein's wife, who of course she shows up in North by Northwest.
Oh, right.
And I saw her the other night in a Perry Mason episode.
Oh, did you really? Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's something about her that I like. But
I like actually that's a really good point. Sorry to interrupt you, but that I like the way she plays off of Rathbone, because you're talking about he's so manic or whatever in that one, and she plays
She's
off of that. Like, what the hell's the matter with you?
Yeah. Rathbone seems like he doesn't want his kid around. I don't know. There's something about Rathbone that annoys me.
He's
like,
not
come along
likable.
now, son. Like,
even in the first scene in the train, he's all wound up, and he's got nowhere else to go but further than that.
Exactly. I felt the same way about like Jack Nicholson in The Shining. Like, I knew from the first minute he was going to kill his family because he was nuts right from the very beginning. This guy's nuts from the very beginning.
All right,
So
how much?
Bill, your favorite is Son of Frankenstein, isn't it? Or this was your introduction to these films, I recall.
It's a favorite of mine. It absolutely is, and it's not. I wouldn't say it's my favorite. It's not my favorite. I mean, I don't know. It changes all the time. We've been watching these movies for so many years.
Yeah, right.
My favorite next week will be something different. But at one point, it was definitely my favorite because I had come through Young Frankenstein first. So to see, like you said, the darts in the guy's arm, and to find out that that scene, the darts, to me is funnier in Son of Frankenstein than it is in Young Frankenstein.
Because Rathbone is so wound up and so overacting that it makes it hilarious, not intentionally, but
and it's Lugosi and Karloff together. And I think I've said before, it took me a long time being into these movies as a kid before I even realized they did any movies together. So I didn't see The Black Cat, The Raven, The Invisible Ray, Body Snatcher until after I'd seen Son of Frankenstein. And it's like it affects me, I guess, still to see these guys on screen together, even though their scenes together, Karloff's scenes overall aren't really all that impressive.
like I said, he doesn't have anything to do. There's one scene where they actually let him act.
Well, and when he finds the body.
When he finds Igor's body.
Oh, yeah, right.
And he lets out that yell, which they use. It shows up in House of Frankenstein. I've
The mirror
heard
scene.
body. Oh, the mirrors. That's good too.
mirrors.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. That's true.
All right, now, does this make me a bad person? I think the funniest thing in the world is watching Daniel the Hunchback fall off that roof and then and I played it over and over again. My kids laugh at it.
Watch it frame by frame.
And I like that he doesn't begin the scream till he's actually like in mid. He's not screaming as he's coming off the roof.
I know, it's like he's already
now it's
through
all
the
over. He
window.
realizes, all right, I'm dead.
Yeah, he's like,
what would you do?
Yeah.
Well, you make me think. When would you scream? Would you scream? When would you realize?
Is that your bone? Yeah.
When would you realize? Well, I might as well scream. It's over.
Nothing else to do.
I'm rolling off the roof to my certain doom. Yeah, I might as well get one in. And that's, of course, Karloff's scream.
Everybody knows that. It's
Everybody
it's like the come on, what's it called? I already forgot. I can't think of it.
The Wilhelm scream.
Wilhelm scream, exactly.
All right. That's not. I'm sorry. It does not. To me, does not measure up.
No.
To the Wilhelm scream? No.
The Karloff.
Oh, the
scream
Karloff
is here.
The pinnacle of the Wilhelm.
It's not only better just overall, but in context, it's amazing. The way he does it is really good.
And
we'll talk about that in a few weeks.
Yeah,
about a year and a half.
It was reused at the end of the film when he gets kicked into the sulfur pit. Spoilers.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
It's the same scream.
Well, because they just threw a dummy in the sulfur pit, so they had to do something.
It's a stunt man.
That's true. There's a person
in.
that gets kicked over. That's we'll get there.
There's a question regarding Bride of Frankenstein. I wanted to ask you about this. If you recall, in the beginning of House of Frankenstein, Daniel asked Karloff, Dr. Niemann, did you know Dr. Frankenstein? He says, no, but my brother who assisted him learned all his secrets. Now, who was it? Hans? Was it Fritz? Was it Ludwig? Who is Karloff's brother?
Yeah, that's
one of those freaks. But I mean, right?
Yeah.
One of those three.
It seems like it couldn't be
Karloff's
Fritz.
brother.
It can't be Fritz because I don't think Fritz has any.
I really love that it's
affiliation.
Ludwig, actually.
It's
I think it's Ted Billings.
Yeah, Ted Billings was Scarlet. All right, we'll make it canon now.
That's
there we
Frankenstein
go.
Minute Canon. Thanks, Wallace.
Because it's the most logical of all of those candidates. I think.
Well, I guess I could make an
feasibly
argument
be-
for Carl, though, because he's
Think?
he's a creep, and so is Dr.
So is Dr. Neiman. you
Dr.
know?
Neiman's a creep too. Yeah.
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 Oh, it must have been tough to get good help back then.
I know, right?
This is the best he could do. My God.
Well, if Fritz is the best Henry could do, we're already starting off in the hole.
All right, here's the other thing. When Lord Byron is recounting the first movie, he says Frankenstein and the dwarf.
Right.
At what point was Fritz a dwarf?
It's all throughout the script of Frankenstein. They refer to him as a dwarf too. I have no idea.
He's not a
You know,
dwarf,
Dwight
he's a
Fry was.
freak.
Fry was
Well,
yeah, he's a freak, but yeah, Fry.
Well,
was,
he's also
you know,
got that
average
little,
height.
but he's got that little cane. So I think
he's got
that's
a
the
little-
only thing we have to go on is that he's supposed to
Foot-long
be little.
cane.
Why couldn't they give him a full-size cane for Christ's sake?
Then he wouldn't have to walk like that.
Or a pair
Why?
of socks he didn't have to pull up.
Yeah, get some elastic. Get some. What do they call those things? Garters for him.
Yeah, I mean,
There
you know,
you go.
Henry had plenty of money, which brings me to another question. And I don't remember if you guys dealt with this like in the 14th or 15th minute when he's explaining to Elizabeth, right when they're in the bed before Pretorius shows up. He says, I created a man and in time he could have done my bidding. Didn't he already have an army of goddamn servants in his house?
Yeah, right.
Why do you have to create a guy? He had servants doing his bidding.
Yeah, they could have got Albert the Footman. He could do his bidding.
He had
Yeah,
plenty of
absolutely.
people he was ordering around.
I honestly, I think I have an answer to that, and I think it's dark. I think Henry I think that's the thing that maybe that's exposed there, is that Henry wants someone that'll do his bidding, kind of like Igor does in Son of Frankenstein. He wants somebody to go out and kill for him.
Do his
There's
shit.
also a little fascistic nationalism
Yeah,
because he wants
sure.
to create a race.
Create a
of
race of people that will do
Absolutely.
his bidding.
So scary. And Elizabeth
Kind of interesting that we're talking about these out of order, because we usually say goodbye to a character or an actor, but usually at the same time. And
Not
yeah,
always,
we just said
but-
goodbye to Clive and
Yeah,
Henry.
yeah.
Sorry, I screwed up your whole agenda.
No, it's perfect.
That's fine. This is where
Like I said, we're just going to steal this, and then if it
Yeah, we'll do.
put it in.
Yeah,
Make it seem like we thought of it.
Edit the whole thing out of.
All right, then
about-
then I'll ask you guys another one. You Bride of Frankenstein experts. All right.
Yes.
Sure.
Pretorius shows up in the middle of the night and he says something stupid like, I'm sorry I came so late. Then 5 minutes later, he says it's not very
It's
late.
not that very late. Yeah, yeah.
All right. But that's not it. They go back to his house in Henry's carriage. How did
Right.
Pretorius get to Henry's? Did he take an Uber? How did
Yeah, he did. He got a lift.
he
Who
walked?
knows?
I mean, how did he get there?
The geography in these things is so obscure and so vague. You know, how far is it from Pretorius's apartment to Chateau Frankenstein? Which
Plus,
in-
where and when are they? Right, like
Yeah.
a taxi is probably the answer in depending
Son
on
of-
the era and where and
certainly in some
location, but
Frankenstein,
I don't know
In the
when
real
and where this
world,
thing.
maybe. All right. And the other one that I was thinking of last night, when the gypsies are there and the mother says, come sit by me because the monster's out. He goes, don't worry, the monster's in jail. How the hell does he know?
We talked about that. I have
Oh, you
no
did?
idea. Yeah,
He's
I
watching
asked the same-
CNN? How does he know?
Yeah, I had that same question. How would gypsies who are on the absolute fringes of society at that time know that the monster's in jail?
Well, he was a
Kinda
little
r-
behind because he thought he was still in jail.
Yeah, that's true. He didn't get the
That's
latest.
a good point. He was
hadn't-
wrong.
He
He hadn't
wasn't
looked at
quite
his-
up to date.
I hadn't looked at his phone yet to see if there was an update.
Well, okay, so there are gypsies and there are hermits, and a hermit maybe
Hermit
isn't
has-
keeping up on what
Yeah, the
Hermit
hermit
has
knew
no
news
nothing.
are.
He didn't know shit. Gypsies knew it all. The hermit knew. The hermit knew everything.
The gypsies have got the pulse of
They got their finger on the pulse. of
their finger on the pulse.
Ingolstadt news. Yeah.
Ingolstadt rumor mill.
See, I must tell you guys, these are things I could never discuss with anybody else on earth
Yeah, well,
because they would commit me.
Well, I'm glad we could be here for you to serve.
That's right. It's a service.
It's
Yeah.
good therapy.
Maybe Minnie talked to the gypsies or something.
Well,
She's
maybe
You guys are
certainly-
everywhere.
anti-Minnie, right?
She's
you guys
everywhere.
are anti-Minnie?
No, not
No,
entirely.
no.
I'm just anti one scene of Minnie, and that's the first time that she bumps into the monster.
Oh, and he doesn't kill her.
No, I think,
Well,
a
I
little-
think he was just stunned. Like, what the
yeah.
I agree with that. I like that.
Yeah,
I think that's
yeah.
right. Yeah.
f-
I
mean,
think
he
that's
killed those
the
other two
point.
people for no good reason.
Yeah,
That's-
no reason
No reason
whatsoever.
So then the question becomes, why doesn't he kill Minnie? And from my standpoint, it's like, he figures why bother at that point. Look at her. She's
Yeah,
harmless.
yeah, she's not.
Why, he had enough killing for the day? Is that it?
Yeah,
his quota.
it's quota.
His quota. He thinks he killed Henry. He killed Maria earlier in the day.
Wiped out the whole family.
Basically.
Yeah, basically, definitely.
Yeah.
Did he leave the cat? Did the cat survive?
The cat survived.
But there's also a theory that Hans is not Hans and woman are not Maria's parents. Although in this movie, you
well, they
basically
were named
assume
Ludwig and something else.
it was Ludwig, and there
And
was
that's
no
why.
mother to be seen. And so these are her grandparents that are showing
Oh,
up.
because they say our little Maria.
Yeah, they don't. It never actually
Works.
specifies that these are their parents.
It's a good theory.
So he's killing the extended family.
Yeah.
Wait till he gets to the cousins. My God.
So Ludwig is out there like.
Is that Ludwig then in both films? I like that idea. That Ludwig is so distraught that the monster has killed his daughter.
And he ends up
What's
working
that?
for Henry.
Stockholm syndrome. He decided.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Why not at this point? I've lost my little Maria. I mean, he's clearly distraught.
Nothing else to live for. Let me help.
Lost my folks. I lost my kid. Yeah, I'll sign on. What the hell? Henry pays well. He hires freaks and losers, but he might pay well.
1,000 crowns.
Yeah, nothing to. $40 is nothing.
These
to
negotiations are on screen.
See, now this is why I listen to you guys for that. Like the conversion of the 1,000 crowns, the Scotch bottle, and the slowing down of the homunculi. That was brilliant. Absolutely.
Thank you.
I was listening to the commentary today with Scott McQueen. It's great commentary, and we've criticized it here and there, but it's great overall.
Yeah, overall, he's great.
What I like is that when he talks about slowing down the homunculi voices, he says, if you slow down this section, you'll hear a voice that says, he picks up the bar and puts them on the thing. And I'm like, well, yeah, if you don't slow it down enough, it sounds like that. You got to slow it down the right amount.
Halfway.
Like, I put some work into that.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, you spent days working on that, didn't you?
I did. I spent a lot of time on that. Any other... Wallace, you sound like you had prepared material. You got anything else?
No, those are just things that struck me. But I must be honest with you. I'm always a little upset that Pretorius is the only villain at the end who gets it. Like, why does Henry get away with it? Henry is no better.
Clive wanted him to die in Frankenstein, wanted him to die in Bride of Frankenstein. He's just like Harrison Ford and Han Solo. He can't wait to kill this character off. But Henry deserves to get his own because in the novel, Victor, his whole family is completely obliterated by the monster as revenge. But Henry gets off scot-free.
Like Pretorius really should have. If they're going to keep guys alive, why not keep Pretorius alive?
I know, it's such a great character, but I don't think the people that made the rest of the films had the creativity to do the right thing with that character. I don't
probably so they knew this already. Whale knew this. So if you kill them off because they won't know what
they'll fuck it up.
I mean, that was really insightful of Whale, I must say.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Whale himself had been through this thing where he killed off Henry. He made a film where they killed Henry. They filmed a scene where he's fine at the end.
And I don't think,
even though he's crouching and cowering in fear in the corner as the thing.
I meant in the first film. In the first film,
he killed him in the first film,
and he filmed a new scene. And then,
again
in the second film, you see him clearly, as I'm sure we talked about a couple of weeks ago.
Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, neither can we. So you said the Wolfman is your favorite character out of the Universal?
It was because it was like the first one I saw. I believe the first one I saw was House of Dracula, and I believe they cut right to the scene where he's in the jail cell, and he turns into the Wolfman, and then for some reason he decides to faint or something. And I always just really liked the Wolfman, but then obviously as I went deeper into it, there's some other guys here that I like too. But I really did, and I really like Chaney Jr. as an actor in that movie. Which, by the way, just to give you the state of my marriage, just like 2 weeks ago, my wife thought his name was Lon Chaney. So I'm pretty much out on an island here.
I think it's funny because we're going to become a Wolfman podcast, right? Like
we will,
in about 2 years. Well, because that's
when you get to
we're not going to change, but that's what the movie is going to become.
That is a Wolfman movie, yeah.
There's more Wolfman coming up than there is Frankenstein after
exactly,
Ghost,
and it's all the end of those, right? It's Frankenstein meets a Wolfman. It's a House of Frankenstein, House of Dracula, Abbott and Costello. Those are all Wolfman Wolfman movies.
Pretty
So
much.
we're going all the way to like 2029.
Probably something
Yeah,
like that.
well, when we started, we started in 2018, and I did the math, and if we did one a week, it was like 11 and a half years.
This is truly a life's work. This is like Robert Caro doing a 3-part biography of him. This is actually more important to me.
Yeah, well, okay.
Without a doubt. But I will just point you in this direction. When you get to Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, and he's in the little hospital in Cardiff, wherever he is in the beginning, the nurse comes to fix his pillow. She has this beautiful manicure. And every time I see it, I'm like, where the hell did she go get her nails?
Where in Cardiff does one go to get a manicure like that? Yeah.
Oh, don't slam Cardiff. I'm just thinking, at a nurse's salary.
Those are,
That's the whole thing, the whole idea of it. She's not a young lady. She's actually Jenny Williams' mother, who got killed by the Wolfman in the third.
Okay.
Is that
Now
right?
she's nursing another Stockholm syndrome. She's now nursing another.
Stockholm syndrome abounds in this series.
Well, I've always said that Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman is the best Wolfman movie.
There's more Wolfman in it.
There's more Wolfman in it, and Chaney is more sure of himself in the role, I think, than he was in the Wolfman. And it's a little bit better written.
Yeah, I really love when he screams at the gypsy and everybody, is stunned into silence because he's screaming, "Get away from me!" And then like 2 seconds later, they just go back into whatever they do, like it never happened.
Yeah.
And he sits back at the table and like everything's okay.
Nothing more to see here. It's all fine.
I've been to parties like that. It could happen.
Although the waiter goes to the bartender's like, cut.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
then we're in House of Dracula. Okay.
Yeah,
That's right.
Exactly.
We're just waiting for Abbott and Costello to show up
Yeah.
at this point.
Well, that's actually that was a resurgence. That was, God. I mean, when Dr. Edelman is your villain, that's he's the scariest guy in the movie.
Yeah, that's a really good point. He's the bad guy,
Yeah.
and the monsters are just running around.
They all show up like on the same night, which I think is hilarious too. I want to be cured. Yeah, I want to be cured too. I was here first.
Nobody wants to be a monster anymore.
It's just hilarious.
Well, that's something you had mentioned earlier, actually, about Wallace, about the Wolfman. That he doesn't ask for this, but I don't think that makes him unique amongst the monsters, and maybe that's the point of.
I think Dracula kind of relishes what he's doing.
Dracula's maybe the only one you can make
up until House of Dracula, which then he comes showing up.
Yeah, the other ones, he's always macking somebody's wife, right?
Yeah, he's a dick.
Right?
Yeah,
he's pretty happy, promising you eternal life if you just let him bite your neck, right?
A little bit, yeah.
And then Karloff's mummy is the same thing, right?
Yeah.
Right?
So
We're going to have a night of torture, and then we're going to live together in eternity somewhere,
So being a Lon Chaney guy, what's your take on Son of Dracula?
It's actually not a bad movie, but he's a bad Dracula.
Yeah, he's not good, but the film itself has got a really
it's like a linebacker playing Dracula.
He's a little well fed to be a vampire, and
The mustache doesn't.
The whole seedy, lounge lizard look. No, it's not good.
But the film itself, I think, is pretty good.
I think it's a pretty good movie. There's some
a nice dark tone to it, and
I like when he's floating on the bayou on the cliff.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And
I like Dracula's daughter much better than that.
Oh, Dracula's daughter's great. Yeah, we did a
great lesbian scene and everything.
Sort of opened the door for that in movies, anyway.
Yeah, love that movie.
It's a great finale, like we talked about, to horror films when the British start saying you can't do this anymore. That's a great send off. Is to have this super lesbian movie.
Yeah.
I think we're still on Instagram.
Are we? Okay.
I don't know.
How about MySpace? You guys on that?
Oh yeah,
Probably.
We got a huge MySpace.
Working on it.
Sorry.
I forgot the password.
You guys are great, really. I enjoy the podcast a lot, really. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
When will this thing post?
I had.
We could tell you the exact date because it's.
Is it this year or next year?
June 11th is this episode. Yeah.
Oh, great!
Last minute of Bride of Frankenstein. So yeah, that's my fault that we did it so far in advance. I'm looking at this. In 2 months, but that's because I get nervous. I'm like, well, we got to set it up. We got to.
You haven't finished the movie yet.
No.
We
We're
ourselves have 4 more minutes to discuss. Yeah.
All right, good.
Strangely enough, with 4 minutes to go, we still haven't seen Elsa as the bride.
As the bride.
right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's that late in the
realize it.
film.
She's only
So how much
like,
screen time does she have between beginning and end? Like 7 minutes?
Probably.
between Mary Shelley and the bride.
Yeah.
About 7 minutes. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, because Gavin Gordon does the flashback part.
There's the
So
recap.
she doesn't
so
even
she's
get
not
that.
even
She
involved
just
in that.
does some needlepoint and then she's
Yeah.
done.
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and
I really had no idea it was that late in the movie.
Yep.
I didn't
Yeah,
either. That's
for-
one of the
for a
things you learn
character-
from the.
For a character that has made such an impact in pop culture, you know.
Right.
Yeah. So
Amazing.
at the end there, when she turns to Henry, you think that she wants to go out with Henry instead of the monster?
What I think is that's a
Oh, that's
remnant
interesting.
of Elizabeth's heart having been used.
Oh,
in
Elizabeth's
Bride.
heart. Yeah, right.
I
Right.
think that's sort of a leftover from that.
You guys made me laugh my ass off on the Frankenstein minute when I think it was Bill. I don't know who brought it up. Like, what if it failed? And Elizabeth brought it and said, "Remember that time you tried to create a monster?" And they all laughed at him because that's like the kind of thing my mother would have done. Like,
Everybody's
you idiot,
gathered.
remember you tried to create a monster and it didn't work.
At Christmas time, it comes up every year. And he's like,
God.
yeah, all right, I get it.
And she's
Yeah, right,
sitting there
all
with
right.
Bowles.
Yeah.
They make eye contact. Bowles.
I actually saw Bowles in a movie where he was playing like a normal person. And
Oh,
he
yeah,
wasn't bad.
He's not bad. I mean, we were really hard on him,
He's horrible in that.
but
movie.
he's so bad in Frankenstein.
You were
He's
too
so
easy
out-
on him.
Okay, he's so out of his element. There.
It's fucking terrible. And plus his line readings are weird.
And
I agree.
I don't know why Whale didn't insist on a better actor for that.
Or at least a retake. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, I
You
feel
know.
like I do know. I think Whale didn't take Frankenstein. I don't know if he thought it was going to be that great. I think he put
But
it.
it's not his name on it, for God's
I don't agree.
You know,
with that at
I
all.
shouldn't.
don't
I
agree with
I got to be careful how I say that. Obviously, he produced something really great, but
I
he
don't-
did it
I don't-
really quickly.
his name is on it. I mean, it's
No, I
That's
think
true.
I think
and nobody knows what he's thinking about when he made it. All they know is this was directed by James Whale, and you have this fucking guy who can't act.
It's hard to
Yeah.
defend John Bowles.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, when I remake this, I'm going to cut Victor out of it completely. It's just totally
No,
unnecessary
no.
character.
No, you can't. You can't.
Totally unnecessary.
Yeah, and you
gonna
should
zoom in
actually
the
cast
scenes
another
where-
guy like Bowles.
Find an actor.
It wouldn't be the same movie without.
Yeah.
All right, guys. This was really
This
fun.
has been a lot of fun. Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I hope I didn't
It
talk.
really was. Thank you for coming.
When we get to the Wolfman minute, call me again.
Yeah.
I'm in a nursing home by then.
Yeah. Well,
You're not going to do the war, right? You're just doing Frankenstein's, right?
yeah. Right. So it'll
Yeah.
be.
Well, when I say it's a Wolfman podcast,
Well,
starting in
Frankenstein
a
meets the
couple of
Wolfman.
So-
You know,
Well-
for the past few years, until this past year, we used to have a Halloween party, and we always showed Frankenstein meets the Wolfman, and we had a gypsy sing along.
Oh,
We
nice.
actually gave out lyric sheets, and
Yeah,
everybody
but-
joined in. It's a highlight.
Do you have any video of that or anything?
No, unfortunately,
No? Oh,
it lives
that'd
on in our memory. However,
be great too.
so it's Faro La Faro Lee.
Carl Lee, I have all. Yeah, I got all the lyrics if you need them.
We'll
I
do
do.
a-
I
Because
do. I
It's the
need.
part of the movie you wait for. I mean, you look forward to it.
We'll do a follow the bouncing ball thing.
Oh yeah, it comes like right in the middle of the movie, just like where you need a little bit of a break. It's gotten kind of heavy with Elsa and all that,
Yeah.
and then here comes Larry Talbot to just go berserk and ruin the whole party,
Ruin everything. for
Well,
everybody.
who's
and then
the guy-
ride off in a wagon with the monster.
Who's the guy whose chest must have fallen, or what is it?
Oh, that's the bartender. What's his name?
And he's a complete asshole,
He's
and
a
he blows
prick.
up the
Oh,
dam.
he's a total dick.
He's
Yeah.
a complete prick, right? What's his
Yeah,
first
yeah.
line in the movie? What do you two beggars want here?
Yeah. He's an asshole from
That's the
the
way
get-go.
people are walking. You're running a fucking bar.
You're running a business that depends on the public, and you insult them as soon as they walk.
And you
in.
know how much he could have sold to Chaney Jr.?
Yeah, no kidding. It's all a
What do you
month's worth
two
in that
beggars
one night.
want here?
Yeah, what are you assholes doing in
What a
here?
That
dick.
is not good. Oh no! I'm thinking of the bartender from "It's a Wonderful Life." This is where
yeah.
men come to drink a lot and.
Yeah, but he didn't start out that way.
Yeah,
right?
but
He
he's-
came in.
yeah,
Yeah, he
he's-
wanted. Yeah, we
yeah.
serve hard liquor to get you drunk in a hurry or something.
There
right?
you go.
Yeah,
But he's more than willing to sell you a drink. He's not going
Right,
to.
yeah.
This
this guy's. Yeah.
sure. But he winds up being the hero.
Well,
Sort
that's
of, I guess. I mean,
interesting.
he
Yeah, that's a good
floods
Right?
point.
He blows up. He blows up the dam, and everything. They get
But
swept away.
It's made clear earlier that if blowing up the dam, it'll sweep the town away as well.
Yeah, they cut that out before the credits roll, before that actually.
Yeah, before you actually see him destroy the whole town.
They're all cheering.
Hey, seconds later, everybody.
That would have been great.
Yeah.
It's like the citizens of Pompeii being like, oh,
Oh, look at that.
look at the fireworks.
It's a cool looking volcano.
Oh, all right. You guys made me laugh. I had my aerobic workout now.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
Oh, how
All
did you
right,
guys?
Tom.
Did you guys know each other before this?
Yeah, we did.
You have known
Through a mutual friend, we've known each other for about.
How did you discover that you were both crackpots?
Again, through the mutual friend, he would tell me, "Oh, I know this other guy who's super into films as well. You two should meet."
I know guys as crazy as you are.
Yeah,
I say that
exactly.
with all due respect, because I consider myself every bit as nuts as you.
That's exactly what it was.
Well, and
Yeah,
Tom, when there's no pandemic, will have a holiday party at his house at
Right.
Christmas. So I'd go to his house and look at his horror books and go, oh my God, you got the second edition of Universal Horrors. I don't have that yet.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
So
Now,
this
of course,
is-
I have it. Hey, I have it now.
this
My
has
wife
been-
refers to that book as the textbook.
It's
all right?
As you read,
Yeah.
because I'm constantly reading it.
Yep. It's the
You know,
Bible.
you go back to it like it's a reference book, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, boys, I got to run.
Yep.
Literally, but really, it was a blast. I really
Thank you
enjoyed
so
it.
much. Yeah, we
Really
Thank you,
was.
guys.
Thanks.
appreciate you taking the time. This was great.
All right, I'm looking forward to next Friday here in the next minute. When do you guys do it?
Usually monthly, we'll record 5 at a time.
So you
Yeah.
do 5 at a time?
Yeah.
Always. We
That's
used to
a
do
full
10
day.
at a
We used to
time.
do 10 at a time.
And how much stuff do you not use? I mean, like, how long does each one of them take?
It depends on my mood, I guess, when I edit them.
Well, just as a request, because my runs are usually between 35 and 40 minutes, could you make them a little bit longer?
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like the 25-minute ones, you kind of catch me. I still got like another mile or so to go.
Oh, all right. I'll
Got
keep
it.
that in mind then.
All right, so just think of that next time.
Yeah, all right.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I got your back.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay,
Hopefully.
thanks much. Yeah,
All right.
absolutely.
It was a blast. Stay in touch with me, all right?
Yeah, absolutely
All
will.
All right.
Okay,
Take care.
thanks a lot. Bye.
See ya.
Why did you say that to me? Get away from me! Stay away! Go away, all of you! Let me alone!